If you've ever played a Final Fantasy game, you know the pain of leveling. And after spending hundreds of hours grinding, you eventually have to finish the game and leave all of your hard-earned experience behind. But this time, we're flipping the script, because I challenged myself to beat Final Fantasy IX at level 1. The rules for this challenge, though, are a little bit different from what you might expect. Since there is mandatory experience later in the game, some characters will have to gain levels. However, at the beginning of every battle, all of my main characters in the party must be at level 1. Guest characters like Marcus, Blank, and Beatrix can gain as much experience as they want, and just to add a touch of extra suffering, I won't be using any cheats, hacks, or mods to eliminate experience gain. I will avoid every possible point of experience using just in-game mechanics until the final battle. And one more thing before we start. Captain Tantacles has been coercing my viewers into crowdfunding his boat purchases, and the only way to stop him is to subscribe to the Tantacles YouTube channel. Help me stop this mischievous mariner. Thank you for your service. We begin Final Fantasy IX by naming our main character, and given his penchant for grinding to within an inch of his life, I name Zidane Primal Liquid. And my favorite Primal Liquid video is how overpowered can you get before Shiva in Final Fantasy X. All of the characters in this run will be named after my favorite challenge gaming YouTubers, and I'll also link my favorite videos of theirs in the description-doo. On my second steal, I get the Mage Masher from Baku, a weapon that not only gives Primal Liquid an attack boost, but most importantly teaches him the Flee ability. And this ability is the most important ability in a level 1 challenge in this game. By running from every battle we can gain 0 experience until we have another way to avoid experience. More on that later. We then gain control of a small black mage boy. Sadly, his ticket to Big Bird's singing competition is counterfeit, but that doesn't mean he'll give up on gaining entrance, so I name him after a challenge runner who bangs his head into gaming walls on the daily, NG+. And of course, my favorite video of his is Can You Beat Final Fantasy IX with Only Trance? And then the play begins. None of the play fight battles in this section give any experience, and they're quite beatable at level 1. But what isn't easily beatable is the sword fighting scene with Blank, and I need to beat this. Finishing it gives 10,000 gil, which is very important because we can't grind for money yet, and a moonstone, which is not that important and I don't care about it. Or do I? And the first time I do this... Oh no! Yeah, I miss a command and I have to start over. I don't get it on the second try either, but on the third try we get our money, kidnap a princess, and name this rusty bucket of bolts Flygon HG. And what does the HG stand for? I have no idea. But my favorite video of his is his Pokemon Platinum Hardcore Nuzlocke with babies only. We then fight Flygon HG, steal his clothes, and get blasted away by Queen Braun's big-ass cannons. And here's where the challenge truly starts, because a plant has kidnapped Princess Garnet, so Primal Liquid and Flygon HG need to fight it off to get her back. But fortunately, Primal Liquid starts this battle in trance, so he's able to take down the prison cage with 2 free energy spells. NG Plus gets captured next, and by having Flygon HG and Primal Liquid attack in tandem, we defeat this monster too. This monster, like all bosses, gives 0 experience, and this is key to a level 1 run. Wouldn't it be great if we could only fight bosses in this run? Well, for now, let's fight the big plant so we can recover Princess Garnet. We now have access to both NG Plus's fire magic and his combo sword magic with Flygon HG. And this plant is quite weak against fire magic. Blank eventually joins the party and steals an iron helm, and then the plant starts spamming thunder on the party. But fortunately, with Fire Sword, Flygon HG is able to make baked kale out of this lettuce beast, and we head into an absolute nightmare. After the fight with Plant Friend, we experience our very first issue with this run. A forced battle. Later, we'll have a couple of ways to avoid gaining experience from forced battles, but right now, that is impossible. Anywhere from 2 to 4 bugs can spawn, and the more bugs we get, the more experience we'll be forced to get. A party of 3 or 4 bugs will level our characters, so my only option is to reload until I get an encounter with just 2 of them. And on our third try, we get it. But I have a brilliant idea here. Rather than worry about the levels of my party, I just kill everyone off and allow Blank to kill the bugs. He gains all of the experience experience and ultimately rises to level 2. This is allowed since he's not a main character, but soon after this, my chat informs me that I done fucked up. Even though Blank is not a main party member and is therefore allowed to level, if he levels, I cannot complete this challenge. This is because Blank's level impacts the starting level of Amarant. With Blank at level 2, Amarant will also start at level 2.
Wait, is that really true? Do I have to go back?
Yes, you do have to go back, Tantacles.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
So I reload my save, kill the big plant again, and then wait for a 2-bug encounter. And I get the 2-bug encounter right away. I leave everyone alive and not a single character gets a level. But then I mess up by not running away fast enough and I accidentally get into another battle with the bugs. And once again, I can't run. So I have to reload and do this grind again a 3rd time. So after I defeat the 2 bugs with my characters, I unequip Blank's weapons and get the frick out of there. We next head to the ice cavern and we now have access to Princess Garnet for healing. We grab all the items behind the ice doors, save with the Moogle, and then head into the snowfield. The party goes unconscious though, and this means Primal Liquid needs to fight the next set of bosses alone. Black Waltz 1 and the Sea Lion are quite dangerous at level 1, and I get greedy here. I have Primal Liquid steal from Black Waltz 1 and then from the Sea Lion, but I lose track of my healing here and I die. On my second try, I start by destroying Black Waltz 1 since he'll heal off any damage his partner takes. And then I play conservatively, waiting for Primal Liquid to go into trance. And once he does, I use a Tidal Flame. This, however, was a mistake. The damage from Tidal Flame turns this monster's gem red, and that allows it to blast Primal Liquid with a devastating tsunami. And since that's a counterattack, it immediately uses a wing attack to take out Primal Liquid, dashing my hopes that this challenge will go at all smoothly. On try number 3, I once again kill Black Waltz 1, and then I switch Primal Liquid into the back row, something I should have done a while ago. And after Primal Liquid goes into trance, I heal once and attack once, and then trance goes away. But once Primal Liquid enters trance mode again, I use Tidal Flame, and this is enough to finish off the Sea Lion in one shot, negating its counterattack and getting us the win. And even better, we now get to rename Princess Garnet, and I name her Game Champ 3000. Her favorite video of mine is Can You Beat the Metroid Prime 2 Minimalist Pacifist Challenge? Again, that's linked in the descriddly-do. And now that we're out of the ice cave, it's time to introduce an important tool of this run: the stutter step. By gently tapping the D-pad instead of holding it down, we can avoid all encounters and therefore all experience. Except one. By stutter stepping into a forest, we can guarantee an encounter with the Ragtime Mouse, a quizmaster who will give us free money if we answer his questions correctly. But do I answer his first question correctly? No. I don't. So I reset, encounter him again, look up the answer this time, and get his free money. And actually, I do that twice, because we now head into Dolly where I grab 99 wrists to get some free money later. I do have to sell off a few ethers to afford them, but it will be very worth it. In the meantime, though, NG Plus gets kidnapped, Flygon HG commandeers a ship, and we fight our next boss battle with Black Waltz 2. And fortunately, for the most part, Black Waltz 2 only attacks one character at a time. This means that even if one of my characters dies, I can simply have Game Champ revive them with a Phoenix down. And if everyone is alive, she's on curing duty. I start by having NG Plus focus instead of attacking with magic right away. This is because focusing will increase his magic stat and the boosts last through the end of the battle even if he dies. But there's another reason. When NG Plus attacks with his fire magic, Black Waltz 2 casts a ridiculously strong fire spell on the entire party. So I'm glad I at least focused it up so it was worth it. Kind of. After this, Flygon HG gets wrecked and Game Champ goes on revival duty. Fortunately, Black Waltz 2 shows some mercy, leaving him alive and allowing him to revive Primal Liquid, who revives NG Plus. And a final whack from Flygon HG just barely finishes off the flying torturer. So I head back to the inn, rest up, and fly away. But we are interrupted by another flying influencer, Blogan Wall. He insists that we buy his new cryptocurrency, Black Waltz coin, and when we refuse, he attacks with a vicious lawsuit and some black magic. And the lawsuit is bogus, so the black magic is what I really care about. Fortunately, NG Plus starts this battle in trance, allowing him to hit twice in a row with fire spells, doing a ton of damage. But once that wears off, Primal Liquid goes down. From there, Black Waltz is able to take out a character pretty much every turn with its single target attacks. I try to heal up Primal Liquid, but Blogan Wall is merciless and just continually destroys him with fire spells. But eventually, he switches targets to NG+, and I'm able to cure him with a potion, giving him a new lease on life. But then I have a massive fail with Flygon HG and hit the change command instead of the item command, and he gets taken out with a fire spell.
How many times did I fail in that battle alone?
And you may have already noticed that the fail counter is back because it's important to memorialize my idiocy for generations to come. And also so that maybe, just maybe, I can learn from my mistakes. Maybe. But one thing I never fail to do is try again. And on the second try in this battle, I'm able to get off a fire sword along with 2 of NG+'s fire spells right away. And then I do it a second time before NG+'s trance wears off. But unfortunately, he then gets taken out by a blizzard spell and Blogan Wall rises into the air. This signals that he's about to wail on my party with powerful magic. But fortunately, that magic is Thundara and my characters all resist it. Unfortunately though, he uses it a second time, taking out Flygon HG and NG+. And like in the last battle, once only one character is alive, it's impossible to gain traction. Primal Liquid revives NG+, Blogan Wall takes out Primal Liquid, and I go for broke. I have NG+ use a fire spell in a last-ditch attempt to end the battle, and I fail, and NG+ dies. So this time, I try something else. I start the battle the same way, with NG+'s fire and Flygon HG's fire sword. But I noticed something. It seems that physical attacks are what cause Blogan Wall to fly up and cast Thundara, so I don't allow Primal Liquid to attack at all. Instead, I just have him use Phoenix Downs to revive. This means that Blogan Wall will only use single target attacks, making survival a whole lot more likely. So I focus all of Primal Liquid's energy on healing Flygon HG and NG+. NG+ batters Blogan with black magic, and Flygon HG uses the last of his MP to strike with a fire sword, and Blogan Wall is defeated. Down with cryptocurrency, long live challenge runners, and on to Lindblum. Lindblum is the most important city in this entire run, and you might think that's because we can transform the wrists we got in Dolly into cotton robes, earning unlimited money, but you'd be wrong. I mean, we do take advantage of that exploit, but it's actually not the most important thing we do here. I'll explain in just a moment. But before that, we meet this gorgeous mouse in a bar, and we name her Bringle. And my favorite video of Bringle's is, can you beat Thousand Year Door without action commands? Absolute banger. Anyway, we now participate in the most important event in this challenge, the hunt. I fight everything I can here because it gives 0 experience anyway, but once the timer hits 4 minutes, I head to the business district. In front of the weapon shop, the Zagnol appears. Primal Liquid can steal the most important item in the entire game from it, the needle fork. And since we're at level 1, it takes a few tries, but eventually, Primal Liquid is able to pilfer this poker from the piggy.
Needle fork! Ah! We got it!
Sadly, the Zagnol now defeats both Primal Liquid and Bringle, meaning NG+ wins the tournament. This yields the rather useless theater ship card as a prize. I would have preferred the more useful spoils from Bringle or Primal Liquid, but the needle fork is far more important than any of that. But before we can use it, we have to exit Lindblum and head to the Mist Continent Swamp. There, we meet the most important character in this run, Queena, whom we name Bunnytails. And this YouTuber was chosen by donation. And while she's not a challenge runner, I did enjoy watching her play Persona 5 Royal. After recruiting Bunnytails, we have a bit of work to do to get prepared for the next section of this run. First, I head to the Chocobo Forest. There, I play Chocobo Hot and Cold until I've collected every single Chocograph, and then I grab all of the treasures I can. We'll ultimately want to collect every single one by the end of the game. And then I head back into Lindblum and I exit through the business district entrance. Here, my goal is to find a party of 2 Axebeaks. Axebeaks are important because they can teach Limit Glove to Bunnytails, but Bunnytails learns blue magic by eating enemies. And this is a problem, because if you eat an enemy and then win a battle, you gain experience. So therefore, in order for Bunnytails to gain blue magic in this challenge, they must eat an enemy in a battle with more than one enemy, And then my characters must flee so that no one gains experience. And eventually, I actually get an encounter with an Axebeak and a Spidery Ditery, and I'm able to eat the Axebeak and flee. Limit Glove is acquired, and we'll circle back to that, because now it's time to head into Gizmaluke and talk about the Needle Fork, because we're now forced to fight some black mages. You can't run from these fights, and you must defeat the enemies. So how do you avoid gaining experience? Well, that's where the Needle Fork comes in. Do you want to be a part of the video? 'Cause I love you.
She's a star, baby. She's a star.
So you avoid gaining experience with the Needle Fork. When Bunnytails attacks with the Needle Fork, it has an added status of Petrify, and when enemies get petrified, they yield 0 experience. And just to be completely clear, I also give them the Glass Armlet, which I got in Lindblum. This gives the Add Status ability, which adds the status that was added onto the weapon so that it can add status to the enemy. It makes it so that the status works. Anyway, by only attacking the black mages with Bunnytails and by ending the battle with them petrified, I can gain 0 experience. That's the entire point of this. But unfortunately, Bunnytails' fork only has about a 20% chance of inflicting the status. So it's likely that they'll kill the black mages prior to petrification. So I did one more thing before I left Lindblum. I grabbed a crap ton of potions. This way, I can heal the black mages when their HP gets low. That ensures that they don't die before they get stoned. But even with all this preparation, I can't even get one of them stoned, and they still manage to completely wreck my entire team the first time I fight them. The second time, though, I have a plan. Rather than trying to stone them right away, I do something else first. I use a tent on the black mages. While tents used in battle restore HP and MP, they also have a 50% chance of having a tent snake inside them. That tent snake can cause poison, blind, and silence. And once the first tent snake bites, I use an antidote to remove the poison status from the mage so it doesn't spontaneously die and ruin my plan. So with the first mage unable to cast magic and with a very low chance to hit, I get to work tent snaking mage number 2 and then use an antidote to cure his poison status. So now, with both mages disabled, all that's left to do is make sure my party is fully revived and start attacking with Bunnytails and using potions when they fail to become petrified. And on the first attack,
Yes!
and it's not long before the second mage meets the same fate.
Yes! Yes! Yes, 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 we freaking did it! Let's go!
I think that's a lot of emotion for safe.
So I immediately get the out of there and save, because we are not doing that again. Except we are doing that again because we have to do the same battle a second time. And this battle is about the same, but I get lucky with my tents more quickly, and I am a bit less lucky with my stony forky stabbies, but I am eventually successful.
Yes! Okay! Oh, freaking K! Saving. We are saving immediately. Can we spam some save emotes in chat, Tantacles, please?
But this area is not done, because we still have to fight the eponymous Gizmaluke. And remember how I learned the Limit Glove blue magic earlier? If Bunnytails has only 1 HP, this ability does 9,999 damage. And if they don't, it does nothing. But at this point in the game, getting Bunnytails to 1 HP is not completely straightforward. The most reliable way is to kill them in a battle and then use Phoenix Downs to revive them. However, Phoenix Downs don't revive them with 1 HP. At least not all of the time. It has a 1 in 10 chance of doing so, so it's just a matter of save scumming until it happens. But once it does, I head in to fight Gizmaluke, and all I have to do is click the Limit Glove button, deal 9,999 damage, and Gizmaluke dies. But I ultimately decided that this strategy, particularly this early in the game, is kind of boring. So I go into the battle again with a different plan. I use a tent snake to inflict the blind status, and from there, I steal with Primal Liquid until we have all of Gizmaluke's items. I jump with Bringle, I focus and then cast Thunder with NG+, and then I use Pumpkinhead with Bunnytails. And while my characters can still die to a lucky physical attack from Gizmaluke, it's easy enough to revive them and keep on wailing. And eventually, Gizmaluke goes down. Now that we've completed Gizmaluke's grotto, we can finally make this challenge easier. And the key is Chocobo Hot and Cold, because one of the chocographs we got unlocks the River Chocobo, and this chocobo allows us to get some new chocographs. And one of these chests contains a new weapon for NG+ that will make avoiding experience much easier, the Oak Staff. This staff teaches NG Plus the stop spell, and the stop status, like the petrify status, can end battles without yielding experience. And because the stop spell doesn't do any damage, this method doesn't require any extra potion expenditure. It will require ethers, but we have plenty of those for now. But no time to dilly-dally, because now it's time to fight General Beatrix. And there are 2 ways to beat this battle. You can deal a crap ton of damage, or simply survive her assault for 10 of her turns. And as you might guess, the easiest and fastest way to end this battle is with Limit Glove from Bunny Tails. So I do that. But just for the sake of not cheesing this boss, I do it again without the spell. Beatrix only has single target attacks, so to beat her, all you need is a liberal supply of Phoenix Downs and ideally 2 thumbs, though 1 will do in a pinch. Not 2 pinches though, which is the disadvantage of not having that second thumb. So Beatrix smashes the team into oblivion, and we're done with Disc 1. We now take a quick interlude to hang out with Flygon HG and Game Champ. They team up with Marcus briefly, who will play a big role later in the game, and fight a black mage who is clearly in need of a new therapist. And have you ever wondered if there's an easy way to get quality therapy from the comfort of your own home? Because the sponsor of today's video is your toxic partner, the one who gaslights you into believing that you're the reason you're depressed. Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? It is not put cat in FaceTime. It is make a video time. Stop it. No. Okay. No. Okay. Stop. Okay. I need to finish this. You leave. I love you. You're the best boyfriend. Well, this black mage falls victim to his own trauma because he can't attack Game Champ. So I wait for Flygon HG and Marcus to die, and this black mage falls victim to Crack.
Don't do that. Your Crack is whack.
I make sure to grab the Stellatio in Quan's dwelling before I head into the city of Traeno. There, I grab 2 more and submit them to Queen Stella, and she gives me the Blood Sword, an extremely valuable weapon that drains HP from my enemies. But this weapon is not for Flygon HG. But anyway, before we can move on, we ride a giant spider and are obstructed by a giant snake. And I know I said the Blood Sword isn't for Flygon HG, but I wasn't being completely honest with you. It's partly for Flygon HG, because he's able to use the Dark Side ability, and even at level 1, Dark Side deals a massive amount of damage. Granted, he dies pretty much instantly each time the snake hits him, but this snake, like many early enemies, only attacks 1 character at a time. So I just revive anyone who falls, and we eventually eliminate this reptile from existence. Back with the Beatrix bashers, I do a mini grind on some Ironites to gain some AP, relying on NG Plus's stop to pull us through. But soon enough, it's time to enter Clara. And on the way up, I need to get the second most important blue magic in the game from the Carrion Worms, Auto Life. But not before a major fail. Bunny Tails goes into trance, which allows them to eat an enemy at half health instead of quarter health. But even though I did get them down to half health, they restored their health with Drain, preventing Bunny Tails from feasting, and then they drain our YouTube stars. And not in the good way. But on the retry, as is their custom, my merry band of YouTubers die again. Yeah, they died. But on the 3rd try, I once again return to form and use the tent snake strategy, causing the blindness and silence status on both Carrion Worms to prevent the drain spell. So we dine and dash. And our next opponent is another insect, the antlion. But Auto Life is our insurance policy. The only problem is that the antlion casts the trouble status, which can spread damage throughout the entire team. However, we now have some pretty powerful armor from Chocobo Hot and Cold, the Magician Robe, which makes Bunny Tails incredibly defensive. And with Auto Potion, nothing can really touch them. Now, interestingly, in a normal game, the antlion Sandstorm is rather difficult to deal with since it lowers all characters' HP to critical. But in a level 1 game, we're kind of used to that, and we're basically always at critical HP anyway. So with Bunny Tails continually casting Auto Life and everyone else throwing Phoenix Downs, Bringle finishes off the antlion with a jump attack. So we participate in Rats the Rusical 2.0, and Beatrix returns. She steals our 100,000 subscriber plaque, which I definitely had before my cat sat on my computer and eliminated 2 trillion subscribers from my account. But we'll never catch up to Beatrix unless you hit the subscribe button. No, actually, it really helps the channel. And we don't catch her because we instead are assaulted by another set of forced battles with Alexandrian soldiers. But fortunately, they're vulnerable to the same tactics as every other forced encounter we fought. We tent snake them for safety, cure off their poison, focus NG Plus's MP on stop spells, and let Bunnytails occasionally attack to inflict Petrify. The first party with 2 enemies is dispatched relatively quickly by NG+. I then head back to Clara to buy more potions and tents as I seem to have run out. The second set is defeated within a couple minutes, even though our tent snakes don't activate, and the third couple both get petrified by Bunnytails. But then we retreat back into the city to save the villagers and stop some more enemies in their tracks. A solo black mage gets petrified, and then things get nasty, because the next battle is with 3 Alexandrian soldiers, which means if my tent snakes don't hit quickly, I will die. And the first one misses, and Bringle dies, and then NG Plus casts stop, and it freezes the target on the first try. The next tent snake works, and it looks like we're in the clear. NG Plus stops soldiers 2 and 3, ending the battle. In the next battle with a couple of black mages, I don't even bother to use tents. NG Plus stops the first black mage, and the second suffers the same fate a few casts later. The next battle is another 3fer, and I once again use a tent to weaken one of the soldiers. NG Plus stops 1 soldier and 1 mage, and the final soldier flees. And side note, if you stop or petrify all enemies, you get some AP but no experience. But if you stop 2 enemies and the final enemy runs away, you get nothing. Which is weird, but I'm cool with that. And another 3fer is next. I once again get lucky with the first tent snake, and NG Plus's first stop spell hits right away, meaning we're basically in the clear. But my good luck isn't over, because Bunnytails petrifies with their first attack, and NG Plus's next stop ends the battle.
Wow. The RNG there really got me. Holy hell.
But now that the pain is over, Mommy's gonna give us a spanking, because we have our second fight with General Beatrix. And the strategy is the same as last time, just keep reviving our dead friends and keep everyone alive for 10 turns. So after more smashes than a Kardashian sex tape, she wrecks our party and we hop a ride on some balls. Sadly though, we lose Bunnytails at this point. They hate balls and they're afraid of heights. But let's keep our eyes on the low-leveled prize. Or in this case, the temporarily not low-leveled prize, because we now come upon Marcus and Flygon HG. And while Flygon HG can't level even a single time, it's actually crucial that we level up Marcus here since he's not a main character. Remember how earlier we couldn't let Blank level because it affects Amaranth's starting level? Well, Marcus is linked with Eco in a similar way, but he's built a bit different. Marcus's level does not change Eiko's starting level, but any strength, spirit, magic, or speed stats he gains on level up will still transfer over to Eiko. This means that here, we need to level up Marcus as much as possible to make our level 1 Eiko as strong as possible. And with the Blood Sword, Marcus doesn't need any items to make this happen. But unfortunately, Marcus is extremely weak, and the Blood Sword isn't strong enough to kill the Alexandrian soldiers in one hit, which means that they overwhelm Marcus and I die. But on my second try, I simply let Flygon HG kill the first guard, and then I kill him off and let Marcus finish the battle. This gets him to level 7, and now the fights get easier. I ultimately take him to level 25 before I figure we've had enough, because I'm not Primal Liquid, so I'm not grinding for another 100 hours. But hey, who should rejoin the party but Primal Liquid himself? I make sure to dodge every single Alexandrian guard to preserve my items, and we head in to fight Zorn and Thorn. And these 2 clowns have a dangerous gimmick. One clown passes dangerous magic to the other, and attacking the receiving mage negates their magic. And eventually, I miss an attack, and Blue gets off a meteor, killing off all of my characters except Flygon HG. But he doesn't even get in one attack before Blue passes magic to Red, and he gets taken out with a light flare. And my second try is also unsuccessful, as is my third. But on my fourth try, the steals happen quickly, and I use my team's powerful attacks to destroy Blue and end the battle. And this leads to our final battle with General Beatrix, which goes the same as all the other ones. She smash, we survive, she smash harder, Princess Game Champ rejoins our party, and the challenge gets even more painful. Once Beatrix revives Game Champ from her twink-induced slumber, it's time to fight some of the hardest battles in this challenge, the Bandersnatches. Beatrix joins my party, but because all of my main party is at level 1, so too is Beatrix. So I let Bringle take herself out, but then the Bandersnatch immediately puts Beatrix to sleep and wrecks her shit. On my second try, the Bandersnatch immediately takes her down, and then I revive her and get off a Clim hazard. It takes her down again, Bringle revives her again, and then I use an Ether on Beatrix so she can use Clim hazard again. And then I simply wait for the Bandersnatch to kill Bringle instead of Beatrix. But she doesn't need to, because Bringle puts herself out of commission and Beatrix uses a second Clim hazard, destroying the Bandersnatch and bringing her to level 8. Back with my party of 4, I equip the Coral Ring to NG+. This will ensure that any thunder attacks that strike him will simply be absorbed. I dodge the first Bandersnatch battle, but then we're forced to fight another group of 3 black mages. And this cohort is stronger than the ones we fought in the past. They hit hard with strong magic, and I die before I can tent snake them. But once again, the power of banging my head against the wall prevails, and I... Okay, maybe not that time, but the third time I get one of them tent snaked, the second one gets stopped immediately, and with only one fully powered mage left, I'm able to get the entire enemy party stopped within a couple of minutes. And then it's another double bunny dog battle, and while they manage to take Flygon HG out of commission, NG Plus manages to stop the first one within a few turns, leaving just one more. And he too gets stopped within a couple of turns. Then Flygon HG leaves us, and we have to stop one more bunny dog to finish this section. And it takes me about a bajillion turns to do it, but the Bandersnatch eventually halts, getting me the win. But there's still one last set of battles to overcome because it's back to Bringle and Beatrix. Bringle is already dead, so Beatrix has to handle everything on her own. And on the first try, one of the Bandersnatches puts her to sleep. They bear down on her with magic attacks, and I die. On my second try, I have Beatrix use a quick shock attack to take out the first Bandersnatch, but the second one takes her down with a rush attack immediately after. And on the third try, I once again am not able to attack at all. But on try number 4, I decide to see if Beatrix's Clim hazard can kill both Bandersnatches in one hit. So the battle starts, I get the first strike, and...
It does kill them both! It's a one-hit kill!
And now she has no MP, though. That's the problem with the next battle. But Steiner can restore it with an elixir, so it's fine. By Steiner, I mean Flygon HG, of course. Of course, the first thing that happens is that Flygon HG gets taken down, so Beatrix has to use that elixir herself. But after that...
Okay, I think we have it. I think we have it. We got it. Beautiful. That's all we needed.
And life is definitely better. On our escape, though, we have to fight Cuddle Noodle number 2. And yes, he is just as harmless as you might expect, because any physical attack will completely debilitate it. So for the lulz, I choose Game Champ as my physical attacker, and she attacks and causes shriveling while Primal Liquid steals stuff. So Game Champ now gets her first summon, Raymu, who is not a sun-kissed cow, and Queen Brahne desecrates Lindblum with her huge, wet mouth. So we head to the swamp, reclaim Buntails for our team, and head to the outer continent. The first obstacle on the outer continent is running away from the big purple rolly machine. It's been a while since I've been caught by this dude, but today's the day, so I guess a level 1 run is when we deal with it. Fortunately, all we need to do is use Primal Liquid's Flee skill to get away from it, and we can run to the end of the hallway to fight its owner, Lonnie. And this is where things get really hard. Not just hope for RNG so we can stop enemies hard, legitimately hard. Lonnie's AI is hard-coded to attack Game Champ if she's alive, and one of her hits will kill her pretty much every time. So the first time I play, I focus all of my energy on reviving her whenever possible. And this seems to go well initially. Since she'll go down to 1 hit anyway, I don't even bother healing her up, and she gets whacked every single time I revive her. But eventually, Lonnie gets bored and just whacks the entire party with a water spell. And there's no way I can counter that. It one-shots everyone, so there's no room for error here. Lonnie has to die, and she has to die quickly. And the best way to do that seems to be NG Plus's Black Magic, specifically the bio spell he gets from the Oak Staff. And right when I feel like I'm making progress,
And now everyone gets watered. So how do I avoid that? I think I know what I have to do. I will auto-life everybody else except Garnet and just Phoenix down Garnet with Zidane, because it looks like the water is timed. So on the next try, Game Champ goes down as usual. I start focusing with NG+, and I have Bunnytails use auto-life on everyone else. But then Primal Liquid gets taken down with an axe chop, and I accidentally hit the change button with Bunnytails, which is a huge fail. And here's where auto-life really frickin' rocks. Unlike Phoenix Downs, auto-life revives characters with only 1 HP. And since the first person I auto-lifed was Bunnytails, their Limit Glove spell is now available to knock out Lonnie. But of course, that doesn't matter because Lonnie uses water, knocking out the whole team once again. I have a plan. So what I'm actually going to do here, because you don't get any AP from this battle, is I'm going to use auto life and basically nothing else. This plan will definitely go better, right? Well, no, it doesn't. I get wiped out by a water spell on the 4th try, and on the 5th try, Bunnytails has auto life on them, and the party gets hit with a massive water attack. But Bunnytails survives, and I think it's time to Limit Glove, but it's actually time to die. So I come up with another plan. I know exactly what to do. I'm playing the wrong game here. Why am I waiting for Lonnie to kill Queena? Unfortunately, though, I start to have a bit of a mental breakdown here. I don't want to wait for their life to be over. I think I'm gonna kill them now myself. So here's the plan. I cast Auto Life on Bunnytails, and then I just kill them myself. Except Primal Liquid's first attack doesn't kill, so I have Bunnytails attack themselves. They're then automatically revived by Auto Life with 1 HP. But because I wasn't sure if their attack would kill, I had queued up an attack by Game Champ, which was a mega fail, because this kills Bunnytails again and ruins my entire plan. And then I get watered again. But now the plan is set. On the next try, I cast Auto Life on Bunnytails, kill them with NG Plus's Fibra attack, and they get auto revived, and then I nuke Lonnie, taking her out in 1 hit. And there's no way I'm trying this battle again without Limit Glove, let me tell you that. But before we head through Fossil Roo, I have 2 more things to take care of. The first is to run back to the beginning of Lonnie's gauntlet to grab an elixir, and the second is to acquire a new blue magic for Bunnytails. I eat one of the giant cousin its in this area to learn the night spell, and I run away. This blue magic has a high chance of putting all targets on the field to sleep, but the Insomniac ability could prevent this for my party members. This makes it a great way to deal with a couple of bosses that we'll talk about later. We finally emerge on the Forgotten Continent, chill with some dwarves, get high on some shrooms, okay, maybe a little too high, pilfer a black belt from some black mages, get married, and eventually meet Eco. I name her Press A, and my favorite video from Press A's channel is Can You Beat Pikmin 1 using only yellow Pikmin? And then it's time for an awful battle with Hilgigars. But why is he awful? Well, first of all, he definitely owns a boat. I don't have any evidence to back that up, I'm just guessing here. But perhaps more importantly, he has the devastating Earthshake attack, which can deal damage to my entire party. Fortunately, Press A has the float spell that she can use to make a character immune to float. But the first time I fight this monster, that's not enough, and Hilgigars takes everyone out. But for some reason, I waste my time on a few battles before I realize that you can cast float on the entire party at the same time. Why am I like this? But also thank you, chat, for enlightening me, because I never would have gotten through this challenge without you. And on the 3rd try, I do finally use this strategy, but it does have one disadvantage. When a character dies from Hilgigar's physical attacks, which will happen every single time it attacks, the float status goes away. And there's also a second disadvantage. It just wears off on its own relatively quickly. But fortunately, the float status can be refreshed before it wears off. So the strategy is reasonably simple. Continually cast float on the party with one of my white mages to turn Earthquake into a wasted turn, have the other one revive dead party members, have Primal Liquid act as a cleric or attack, and have NG Plus cast Bio to deal big PP damage whenever possible. Oh, and I guess using Ethers occasionally is necessary because MP does run out pretty quickly. And eventually, Hilgigars uses Curaga, signaling that we are very near the end of this battle. But fortunately, while NG Plus was waiting for his MP to be restored, I had him focus his magical power. This means that it takes just one more bio spell to finish off this oversized ogre.
Alright, you're going the right way for a smack bottom.
So we head to Madain Sari, learn how to really do big PP damage, and then go to find a big undead tree to hit with our PP instead. instead. But I first try out making this small tree, which I think is made out of stone, too soft to live. By using a soft on it, people, get your mind out of the goddamn gutter. But while this strategy will work well later, flaccidifying this treedusa gives experience. So we add another notch to the fail counter and sadly abandon this strategy. But once we enter the tree's lower levels, we are plagued by the bane of this challenge once again, force battles. And these are some of the worst in the game, because our prior strategy of stopping our foes, while potentially still efficacious, has a big issue. These skeletons are extremely resistant to stop, and while we've overcome that problem before, these skeletons are ready to thwart us, because after a stint on Nickelodeon's Kablam, they've acquired the power to melt. So if we can't stop all three in time, they'll just melt all over our party. And while that might not kill our party, it does something much worse. It yields experience. So the first time I fight them, all three melt, giving Game Champ over 4,000 experience and necessitating a reset. But there is a way around this, though it kind of sucks to set up. The zombie dragons in the area before this can inflict the zombie status, which has two effects. First, it prevents healing with any kind of dedicated healing item or spell. And second, it prevents EXP and AP gain. But there's a problem. Because I'm at level 1, my characters are going to have a very hard time surviving the breath attack that inflicts zombie. And even worse, if you cast the zombie status on someone and they die, as Game Champ does here, they can't be revived without removing the zombie status. This means that he has to inflict zombie on a character, they have to survive the attack, and then we have to run away. And the best person to survive this attack is Press A. The level up section with Marcus has increased her HP to 90, and with the magician robe I got from the Chocograph, her defenses are quite formidable. Or at least formidable enough for her to survive one attack. So I gear up Press A with as much defensive equipment as possible, cast Protect on her to lower physical damage, and just wait. And eventually, she gets zombie breathed and survives with just 20 HP, and Primal Liquid's Flea attack allows me to escape. But then disaster strikes. No, leave me alone! I get into a battle before the screen transition, so if Press A dies, we have to do that grind again. So in a Hail Mary, I have NG plus cast Stop, and it works right away, meaning I've avoided the worst scenario possible, and we head back to the leafy spinny gauntlet. We initially get a 3-skeleton battle, and NG plus is immediately able to stop the first skeleton. But then, all we have to do is kill everybody else without... God damn it! Yeah, Press A dies to a physical strike, and the only choice we have is to start the battle over. And on the second try, they once again go after her right away. On the third attempt, I kill the first skeleton with life, and then... Come on. No! No! Why? Press A dies. Number 4, Press A dies. Number 5, I get super lucky. I get a 2-skeleton party. I use a Phoenix down on the first one, and this was a mistake. I'll come back to that. I have Game Champ use life on the second one, and it goes down, and then it uses Roulette and kills Primal Liquid. Great. So all I have to do is kill Game Champ. She attacks herself, but it isn't enough, and then the skeleton uses Melt. And I was super excited at this point because I really thought it would kill Game Champ and end the battle with only Press A. But because I used a Phoenix down on him rather than using the life spell, he only has 1 HP. And because he's only at 1 HP, Melt only does 1 HP, meaning that Game Champ once again gets all the experience from this battle, and we gotta do it again. Number 6 gets off to a good start, but they eventually attack Press A. Number 7, immediate Press A death. Number 8, though, I use a Phoenix down, kill off Game Champ at NG+, and then the skeleton attacks Primal Liquid and misses him. So I have to wait for Primal Liquid's ATB to fill up so he can attack himself, which he does. Press A uses life, and then the skeleton is finally down. So we can head on to the next battle in this gauntlet with a Skelly dragon. I revive all of my other characters in the hopes that the dragon will attack only one character to start, and it starts by using Thundara on NG+, which is perfect. I blind it with Soul Blade, have my other characters destroy themselves, the dragon misses its physical attack, and this gives Press A time to fill up her HEB gauge and cast life, finishing off this dragon and getting us the win on the first try with 0 experience gained. So finally, I remove Press A's zombie status, revive my characters once again, and finally we head on to the Tree P with the big PP. Soul Cage. And since it's an undead boss, a life spell immediately finishes it off and it yields no experience. So we can finally stop peeing on things. Well, okay, not quite yet, because Press A gets kidnapped and Primal Liquid has a solo fight with Scarlet Hair. To set up for this battle, I equip Auto Potion and his highest defensive armor and basically just continually attack. From the back row, Scarlet can't do too much to him, and even better, all of his attacks build up Primal Liquid's trance gauge. So once it's full, I use a shift break to deal 2,500 damage, and a second one. And then Scarlet hits a huge critical hit for 160 damage, and I die. I changed nothing for try number 2, and I almost die to a counterattack because of that. However, I managed to potion up before that happens. Once again, Scarlet Hair causes Primal Liquid to enter trance, and I once again hit with one shift break, then a second, and after that, I'm unfortunately out of MP. So I pray Scarlet doesn't get another critical hit, and what actually happens is that Primal Liquid gets one, finishing him off. We go on a quick boat ride, and Game Champ reminisces about a better time, when her mother borrowed a boat and a giant eyeball destroyed the boat's owner. Once again proving that the best kind of boat is somebody else's boat. Don't buy a boat. But after this, Amarant, our prior combatant, joins our team, and I name him Ragnar Alvar. And my final video recommendation is amazing. Can you beat Persona 5 Royal with a Nuzlocke rule set? Well, he did. But before we watch any other videos, we have to finish off Disc 2 in the most painful way possible. A bunch of forced battles with Mistodons. But fortunately, the Mistodons are susceptible to stop, can't melt, and only have one really threatening ability: Mist. This ability deals a ton of damage to all party members and can inflict the sleep status. But unfortunately, even though we use our typical strategy of tent snaking to disable them prior to stopping them, this strategy has a problem. Mist is not prevented by the silence status. But this doesn't come into play the first time I fight them because they take out my characters with physical attacks before I can get them both tented. And the second try goes about as badly. But on the third try, I get both tented, disabling their magic and physical attacks. And it's here that both Mistodons cast Mist back to back, completely demolishing my party. Try number 4 is just a straight up death fest, as is try number 5. But on try number 6, things go much better. Oh wait, no they don't. I just die again. But on try number 7, things go much better. Both Mistodons get tented almost immediately, and NG Plus manages to stop one of them with his very first cast. And with one Mistodon left, we're in pretty great shape. A mist attack will take out most of my party, but will always leave Ragnar Alvar alive to revive everyone else. So within a few casts, NG Plus is able to stop the second Mistodon and help us survive yet another awful battle. In the next force battle with just one Mistodon, I get lucky and NG Plus gets a stop spell off immediately. 2 more to go. The next Mistodon is another single battle, and this guy uses Mist right away. The worst possible scenario. But I keep Ragnar Alvar at full health and simply wait him out. Eventually, I manage to revive NG Plus. It's just a matter of time before I manage to get wrecked by a lucky physical hit from the blind bug boy. But on the second try, NG Plus's first stop spell works, and we have just one more battle to go. So in the final battle, my party gets misted right away, and I go for broke. The only way forward is to get it tented, so I have Ragnar Alvar go for it, and it hits. So I get him back to full health, cure the Mistodon's poison status, and get to reviving NG+. From there, I just need to get lucky with one stop spell, and it happens on his very first cast of the spell. That ends this gauntlet, along with Disc 2. And fortunately, there is no forced encounter with Queen Brahne, who dies in a horrible boating accident. Don't buy a boat. With Queen Brahne dead, Game Champ rises to queendom, and Primal Liquid, despite being British, has little interest in the royal family. Instead, he goes to play some cards in Traeno and acquires the Rebirth Ring, a rather important item that bestows the auto life ability. He also goes to the auction house to grab a dark matter, which we will definitely need later. But then, Alexandria gets attacked by more giant undead bugs. But this time, we have a secret weapon, Beatrix. And again, she can gain EXP because she's not a main character. So she kills off Flygon HG in the first battle and hits with some physical attacks to take out number 1. She also whacks the second one to death, but I get greedy here. Beatrix comes equipped with some pretty nice equipment, and I decide to take what she's got for my own nefarious purposes. She then has to fight a party of 2 Mistodons, and while I try to use physical attacks to take them out, they're too powerful and I die. But the second time, I'm not taking their shit. I hit them both with a Clim Hazard and they both survive and I die again. So on the next attempt, I equip her with some weaker items. This time, she uses a shock attack to immediately take down one Mistodon, cure herself, and then take down another Mistodon with a life spell. But now that she's gained some extra levels, I once again remove all of her equipment and move on to the next set of battles. This time, she's able to use a life spell to take out Mistodon 1, and then the second solo Mistodon destroys her. Okay, so next try. She hits with life before the first one can damage her. Then she hits the second one with life, once again destroying it before it can kill her. And then a third one also dies to a life spell. And finally, a battle with 2 Mistodons. They hit hard with Mist and Fyra, but she cures herself. Then they put her to sleep, but she wakes up, heals herself, and kills both Mistodons off with life spells one after the other, ending this section of forced battle. This allows Game Champ and Press A to summon a giant winged Pikmin. Unfortunately, it promptly gets destroyed by a giant eyeball, and Game Champ suffers a completely unrelated mental health crisis. And sadly, the Regent decides that the cure to her crisis is a boat. But once again, it's somebody else's boat, and this time maybe its owner won't get destroyed by a giant eyeball. We'll see, I guess. But now that we have a boat, we can finally get more spoils from Chocobo Hot and Cold. The team heads to Chocobo's Lagoon, and I get the Mountain Chocobo. So I head back to Chocobo's Forest to grab some more Chocographs, and while I'm there, I get enough points to get the Robe of Lords, an incredibly powerful piece of armor that negates wind damage and gives my mages unparalleled defense. Then I grab the Ocean Chocobo, grab some more Chocographs, get all of the treasures I can from this side quest, and head to the Desert Palace. Here, the party splits into 2 groups. The first group heads to Oggleburps, where magic cannot be used at all. There are no forced battles on the way, but I do grab some more Chocograph treasures on the Forgotten Continent. But once we get to Oggleburps, we have an amazing opportunity. In Oggleburps, we have the opportunity to fight these stony dudes, and by using a soft on them, we can gain 2 AP with no experience. It's not without risk, however, as we can and do get attacked by some knife guys who can completely wreck our team. But fortunately, they can be fleed from. So I learn every single ability that I possibly can, loot Oggleburps' treasures, equip clear-headed and wind damage reduction on all of our characters, and head in to fight the giant airboat Ark. And fortunately, with clear-headed we're immune to confusion from propeller wind damage reduction softens the blow from Twister, and Press A's defense with the Robe of Lords is so high that huge physical attacks can't touch her, particularly with Auto Potion equipped. But I have one goal in this battle. I steal Bringle's Holy Lance from Ark. This weapon teaches one of the most important abilities for this challenge, Dragon Crest. And we'll definitely talk more about that later. Anyway, once it's stolen, I realize that Press A's Robe of Lords is ridiculously overpowered. Ark really can't touch her, so whenever another character dies, she's just able to tank the hit and revive anyone who is dead. So I rely on Bringle's jump attacks and Ragnar Alvar's thrown items to take out this boat and move on to the Desert Palace. And the Desert Palace is annoying because my characters can't run away from battles at all easily. Running in this game depends on the difference between character level and enemy level. This is why Primal Liquid's flee command is so powerful. But with Primal not in the party, it's almost impossible for my characters to run away. So every time I get into a battle with the enemies here, it's basically a guaranteed death. But once I finally finish my dying streak and grab all the bloodstones, the boss of this area, Valley Apira, is a piece of cake. Flygon HG and Bunnytails both have enough ability stones to equip the auto reflect ability. And with this ability, all of Valley Apira's spells are bounced right back at it, and those characters can't die. This means that it basically destroys itself. But now, Kuja kidnaps Press A and we head to Mount Gulug. We now have Primal Liquid back in our party, so we can flee from any battle as long as he gets a turn, and that is a relief. But that doesn't help with the 2 mandatory battles in this section against white dragons. But what does help is that we're finally able to pick up NG+'s Octagon Rod. This absorbs all water and wind damage, negating their Twister attack. And that means that we have a lot of leeway to use the classic Tent Snake strategy followed by Stop. In addition, Bunnytail's Auto Life ability makes both of these forced battles a lot easier, acting as a safety net for when the white dragons manage to land a physical attack or two. And one more thing, NG+ now has the Light Robe equipped, which teaches the half MP ability. This gives him double the casts of Stop, meaning I can save some ethers in case the battle doesn't go my way. And initially, it definitely does not. So rather than waste all of NG+'s MP, I have him use Focus to raise his magic stat. This will increase the accuracy of his Stop spell. But nonetheless, in the first battle, it still takes almost all of his MP before the first dragon is stopped. So ultimately, I revive Ragnar Alvar and have him use his Chakra spell to restore some of NG+'s MP. And the second one eventually gets taken out. And then, in the second forced battle with the dragons, things go quite similarly once the tent snakes bite. It's really just a matter of patience since they keep hitting their physical attacks and destroying NG+. But after a lifetime of casting, the first dragon stops and the second is soon to follow. Yes! Thank you, Jesus! But there's one more fight we must complete in Mount Gulug. Multi-gamini. The strategy is essentially to cast Auto Life on as many characters as possible and then pray. Because Multi-gamini's worst attack, Viral Smoke, can defeat all 4 characters in one hit, and its bio attack can do the same exact thing soon after, destroying my chances of ending the fight with any kind of efficiency. And I try this fight a few times, but ultimately it kills my characters with either bio or Viral Smoke. At this point, we were at the end of the 3rd day of streaming, so I stopped for the night. Unfortunately though, I didn't save after defeating the second set of dragons, so I need to take care of them again. But once that's done, I figure out a new strategy for the boss. I need to do damage fast, so once again, I give Bunnytail's Auto Life with the intention of reviving them with 1 HP once they go down. I bet you already know why I'm doing this. This, however, does not work, as every time I revive Bunnytails, they seem to get taken down again, so I can't get any traction. And there's no use in using Auto Life with only Bunnytails alive, as the startup time after revival is just too long, and I die. Whoa! Ha ha! Rebirth Flame saves the day. Okay, we have another shot. And this is why I collected all those Phoenix Pinones. If Presse is in the party and you have Phoenix Pinions, there is a chance that upon death, Phoenix will automatically be summoned, dealing fire damage to the enemy and reviving the entire party. The more Phoenix Pinones you have, the higher the chance. So with this second chance, I get to casting Auto Life on everyone I possibly can. And maybe I forgot to mention it, but Ragnar Alvar now has the Aura skill. This casts Auto Life and Regen. So I start with Bunnytails and Ragnar Alvar, have Presse cast Holy, and then desperately try to get the rest. My hope, of course, is that Bunnytails will get taken down with everyone else still alive. But instead, Multi-gamini casts Bio on the party and then envenomates Buntails. But I antidote them, ready a Limit Glove, and it goes off, dealing 9999 damage. But it's not over yet, because Multi-gamini now takes out Bunnytails once again, meaning I need to set up another Limit Glove. So I Auto Life Bunnytails first, and yes! Yes! This is it! This is the one! They immediately get blasted by a wing and revived with 1 HP, meaning we're ready. But then Multi-gamini once again uses Bio, taking out Buntails and the rest of the party, and I'm feeling pretty hopeless. But in a last-ditch effort to make it work, I have Ragnar Alvar revive Bunnytails with a Phoenix down, and one! Wait, oh! Ah! We got it! Woo! The Phoenix down revived Bunnytails with 1 HP. And rather than once again destroying my entire team with Bio, it decided to cast Venom on Ragnar Alvar. This leaves Bunnytails open to use a final Limit Glove and oh, please let this be the end. Please let this be the end of this stupid-ass battle. Please! Come on! Yes! Ha ha! I got it! With that massive time suck out of the way, the regent gets reverted to human form, Game Champ, who is programmed on duct tape, goes to therapy, gets a haircut, and we finally get an airship. And our next destination is Ipsen's castle. There, we sadly can't use Ragnar Alvar, but we don't really need him, because the boss here, for the most part, can only hit one character at a time. The only attack it has that hits more than one character at a time is Blizzaga, so I equip Bunnytails and Primal Liquid with Auto Reflect, and I give Bringle the Medane's Ring so she absorbs ice attacks. I have NG plus Focus, I have Bunnytails cast Auto Life, I have Bringle jump, and I let Primal Liquid steal. And once NG Plus has focused a bunch of times, I have him start using Bio for about 3,000 damage a pop. And to add insult to injury, on the third Bio, Tahara gets poisoned, which I didn't realize he was vulnerable to in the first place, so it's only a matter of time before Tahara gets bio-blasted to death. And thus starts a massive grind for the next section. I collect the rest of the Chocographs in Chocobo's forest, grab the Sky Chocobo, and then start the most important grind of this run. But before we can even start that grind, we have to do one more thing. Before this point, we've had no way to reliably kill enemies without gaining experience, except those stone guys, I guess. But now that we have the Sky Chocobo, we can head to Vile Island. Here, we encounter a very special enemy, Yan. And Yan has a skill called Virus Powder. This skill does massive damage, but can also inflict the virus status on a character. And the virus status is the key to this entire run, because it completely prevents a character from gaining experience and AP. And even better, the virus status is not removed in death, but unfortunately, the chance of virus being inflicted when Virus Powder is cast is not 100%. But with patience and a lot of death, Yan eventually inflicts the virus status on Primal Liquid, and then on Bunnytails, and then on Ragnar Alvar. And while I do try to let Yan get virus on NG+, I ultimately decide that 3 characters virused is enough for what I want to accomplish, and I don't feel like dealing with the massive RNG required. But now we're at that grind that I was talking about earlier. Finally, it's time to kill dragons. 100 of them to be exact. Remember when we stole that Holy Lance from Ark? We needed that to teach Bringle the Dragon Crest ability, because that ability deals damage based on the number of dragons the party has killed. After killing 100 dragons, it will deal 9,999 damage. So I kill off NG+, start smashing dragons near Chocobo's forest, and eventually hit 100. But even with this grind done, and even with Bringle able to deal 9,999 damage, we still have big problems. But not quite yet, because first we send off our allies to deal with the Water, Fire, and Wind Guardians, and we let Primal Liquid and Bunnytails take on the Earth Guardian. So we equip them with Auto Reflect and Gaia Gear, and then I have Bunnytails cast Auto Life to deal with physical attacks. And right away, Bunnytails gets whacked and revived at 1 HP, so we're ready to Limit Glove. Except there's a small problem. Gaia Gear absorbs Earth damage instead of nullifying it, meaning this disables Bunnytails' Limit Glove. But I Auto Life again, continue using Thievery with Primal Liquid, and Bunnytails gets whacked and auto-lifed again. And after that, Earth Guardian uses Blizzaga, which gets reflected, leaving him open to a Limit Glove. Primal Liquid then gets slashed to death, but fortunately, the Earth Guardian is now below a quarter of its health. This means that Bunnytails can just eat him, learning Earthshake, and end the battle. And this opens up Terra. But before heading into Terra, I once again head to Oggleburps to learn every single ability I can with the Soft Stone trick. I also finish up Chocobo Hot and Cold, grab the rest of the Chocograph treasures, and finally head on in. The first part of Terra isn't too big a deal. I avoid every battle I can, I follow the road to the genomic paradise, and then Game Champ gets a bit shyball for this eyeball. But once that's done, we head into the worst part of this challenge. You might remember that when I went over the rules, I said that I wasn't allowed to start a battle with main characters above level 1. And this section is the reason for that. During this mini-boss gauntlet, there is no way to avoid experience. The party gets a mandatory full heal, virus is cured off, and the enemies in this section are immune to all status effects. Not that we could stop any of them anyway, since NG Plus doesn't participate in these battles. So in order to get through this section and be able to complete the game, we have to choose one character in each of the 3 battles to gain all of the experience from those battles. And once that happens, I cannot use them for the rest of the game. So these decisions are huge. And right away, the first battle with the black flying horsey is devastating. I can't sacrifice Primal Liquid because he's mandatory in every single battle. So my options are to sacrifice Bringle or Ragnar Alvar. Both can do huge damage, but ultimately I cannot sacrifice Bringle because I just increased her Dragon Crest skill. That means she's one of 2 characters right now who can deal 9,999 damage. And while Ragnar Alvar has some unique skills, most notably Aura to cast Auto Life, Bunnytails can basically do the same thing. So I have Bringle use a Dragon Crest to start the battle, and that prompts Ragnar Alvar to come in. I have him cast Aura on himself for safety, and then I have Bringle and Primal Liquid strike themselves to death, and Ragnar Alvar throws a Wing Edge. But it's not enough. But a second Wing Edge takes down the last unicorn and gains him 20 levels, meaning he's out for the rest of the game. The next challenge is Abaddon, and once again, we have to choose between 2 characters, Flygon HG and Bunnytails. And since Bunnytails can do 9,999 damage and cast Auto Life, I decide that Flygon HG is the one to go. The first time I fight Abaddon, though, the team gets wrecked by a high wind and a physical attack before they can even act. Rough stuff. On try number 2, I managed to get Auto Life on Bunnytails, but Abaddon avoids Flygon HG's initial physical attack. But then Bunnytails gets taken down by Thundaga and revived by Auto Life, meaning they can use a Limit Glove to deal 9,999 damage. Another Thundaga takes down Primal Liquid, and Bunnytails strikes himself. But then Flygon HG misses yet another attack and gets taken out by Thundaga. So pretty much the worst RNG I could get. Try number 3 initially looks promising, but results in death. Try number 4 sees my party get wrecked by a high wind and a physical attack, and try number 5 starts off well, but ends in a windy disaster, as does try number 6. But on try number 7, things finally start going right. I get Auto Life on Bunnytails, Flygon HG strikes, Bunnytails gets revived, Flygon hits again, and then Primal Liquid hits hard with a Thievery. And lo and behold, Bunnytails is ready to strike with a Limit Glove. But unfortunately, Bunnytails' Limit Glove immediately kills Abaddon, and all of my other characters are still alive. This means that they all get experience, gaining multiple levels, and I have no choice but to try again. And on try number 8, Flygon HG's attack hits, I get Auto Life on Bunnytails, they get revived, Primal Liquid comes in, Bunnytails hits with a Limit Glove, Flygon HG gets revived, and then Primal Liquid's Auto Life gets used up by a Thundaga. So Abaddon then kills Bunnytails, Primal Liquid takes himself out, and it's all up to Flygon HG. He winds up for a physical strike. This is a make or break moment, folks, and ha! It's over. Flygon HG hits. Flygon HG gains 21 levels and is disabled from participating in the rest of the challenge, and we're on to the final battle of this gauntlet with an Adamantoise. Primal Liquid starts off in this battle by himself, and I have him use a Thievery attack. Adamantoise then uses Earthshake, which is a freebie because of Gaia Gear, so I hit with another Thievery and it kills Primal Liquid with a charge attack. He's revived by Auto Life, and Game Champ comes in to heal him and starts summoning. She summons Shiva, Primal Liquid dies, and she restores her MP. Adamantoise takes her down to 1 HP. Another Shiva summon hits hard, but then he takes her down with a charge attack. On the second try, we use Thievery and Primal Liquid goes down right away, bringing in Game Champ. She casts Shiva. Primal uses another Thievery and she restores her MP. Primal Liquid uses another Thievery, goes down to 1 HP, and then he uses a 4th Thievery. But then a charge attack takes out both characters. However, Game Champ's Auto Life kicks in and Adamantoise uses Earthshake, wasting a turn. So she summons Shiva again, getting the full summon animation, and she takes down the Adamantoise on the first try. Second try. That was the second try. She takes down the Adamantoise on the second try. So now, Game Champ, Ragnar Alvar, and Flygon HG can no longer be used for the rest of the game, and it's time to fight the actual factual regular bosses of Terra. And the first is Kuja's dragon. I equip as much water and wind absorbing equipment as possible to start, with one exception of course. I give Bunnytails armor that nullifies wind instead. I want them at 1 HP, and healing them will ruin that. I start off by casting Auto Life on Bunnytails so that they can actually get to 1 HP, and then the dragon does the worst thing possible. It casts Shockwave. This physical attack is undodgeable and it kills everyone. Fortunately though, Bunnytails has Auto Life, as does Primal Liquid, so they're both immediately revived. And then a Twister acts as a wasted turn. I recast Auto Life on Bunnytails for safety, and then I immediately get wrecked by another Shockwave and a physical attack. But Press A once again comes to the rescue with another final Phoenix attack, reviving the party and allowing everyone to strike again. So I have Bringle cast Dragon Crest, Press A cast Holy, and Bunnytails Auto Life themselves. Bringle then dies, Bunnytails gets whacked and revived, and a Phoenix down brings back Bringle once again. And then the dragon uses Air Slash again, wasting its turn and allowing Bunnytails to use Limit Glove.
Oh my god, is that it? Did I do it? You guys, first try. First frickin' try.
So we move on to Garland. Garland immediately takes down Bunnytails, but a Phoenix down brings them to 1 HP. So Bringle uses a Dragon Crest, and Bunnytails uses a Limit Glove. Our luck doesn't last though, and Garland uses Stop on Primal Liquid. I get everyone alive again, and then Garland takes out Primal Liquid with a Flare, removing the stop status. So Bringle's MP gets restored, I recast Auto Life on Bunnytails, and they get taken out and revived. But then my luck runs out. Press A gets killed before she can ether Bunnytails. Bunnytails falls victim to the stop status, which I should have prepared for with a locomotion ability, so shame on me. And then the party just gets wrecked. That means I have to go back and fight Kuja's dragon once again. And while I will not go into detail, let me just say that this battle did not go well the next time I tried it. It actually takes me 3 more tries to beat this dragon again, and once we do, we fight Garland one more time. And once again, Primal Liquid gets stopped. I get Bunnytails auto-lifed, and then they get taken out and revived. Press A is on ether duty and restores Bringle's HP so she can use Dragon Crest. But Press A goes down, and Bunnytails uses a Limit Glove. Fortunately, he attacks Primal Liquid with Flare next, and his auto-life activates, meaning he is no longer stopped. Another Dragon Crest and another Limit Glove each do 9,999 damage, so I restore Bringle's MP next and let Bunnytails use another Limit Glove, finishing off Garland. Which brings us to Kuja. Primal Liquid is immediately revived by his auto life, but goes back down. And that means Bringle can get off her first Dragon Crest with no issue, and I begin the process of reviving my entire party. And Bunnytails comes back with 1 HP. So Bringle uses a second Dragon Crest, Bunnytails goes down again, sadly, so we have no choice but to revive them, but then we restore Bringle's MP. And I have a stroke of luck here. A Demi on Press A misses, and Bringle gets in a third Dragon Crest attack. And then he casts a Demi on Primal Liquid. I revive him, and then I cast Auto Life on Bunnytails, and Kuja falls for the trap, using Thundaga on them and reviving them with just 1 HP. Bringle then gets off a 4th Dragon Crest, and Bunnytails uses their first Limit Glove of the battle, which coincidentally is the final attack of the battle, finishing off Kuja. So Kuja enters trance, destroys Terra with Ultima, and we're on to the final boss gauntlet in Memoria. Our first battle of Memoria is with the Nova Dragon. This guy once again uses mostly wind and water attacks, so the strategy is about the same as the White Dragon. I start with the Dragon Crest, it uses Air Slash, and then Bringle uses Dragon Crest number 2. But then it uses Shockwave, yet another unmissable physical attack. Auto Life brings back NG Plus and Primal Liquid, NG Plus goes down to Psychokinesis, and I don't know why I'm saying all this, another Shockwave destroys the party. Yeah, but eventually I change up my strategy once again, because after a few more deaths I realized that the best strategy involves a blue magic we learned earlier, Night. By equipping everyone with Insomniac and using Night, I can put the Nova Dragon to sleep while keeping all of my party members alive. Unfortunately though, Dragon's Crest will always wake up a sleeping enemy, so I have to use Dragon Crest followed by Night every single time. And unfortunately, after the first Dragon Crest, Nova Dragon immediately takes out Bunnytails with Psychokinesis. So I get everyone revived, use another Dragon Crest, and then put him to sleep again with Night. I wait for everyone's ATB to refill, have Bringle use Dragon Crest, and immediately set up a Night attack with Bunnytails, putting him back to sleep. Then another Dragon Crest. But then I realize that Bunnytails is out of MP, so I queue up an Ether with Primal Liquid, which goes off, but then Nova Dragon gets in an attack, and fortunately, it's Aerial Slash, which just heals. So Bunnytails uses Night once again, and I once again wait for the ATB gauges to fill. Another Dragon Crest and another Night goes off right after, but unfortunately I bungle things here, and Nova Dragon wakes up before I can queue up my next set of attacks. But once again, it wastes its turn with an Aerial Slash, so I'm able to use one more Dragon Crest with Bringle and take out the Nova Dragon permanently. Next up is Malibris, a boss that I'm not too worried about. She uses fire attacks, which I can absorb with the Rosetta Ring, and physical attacks that hit only one character at a time. Unfortunately, I forgot to equip the body temp ability, which would have prevented the heat status. This status causes the character afflicted with it to die whenever they use an attack, but it does wear off after a while. So Bunnytails gets heated up. I use a Holy with Press A Thievery attack with Primal Liquid, and a Dragon Crest with Bringle. The next Mustard Bomb attack misses, so I have Press A use another Holy, Bringle use a Dragon Crest, and Bunnytails use Auto Life on herself, and everyone else for that matter. A couple more Dragon Crests bring Malibris down to critical HP, and at this point she uses her final attack, a non-elemental magic attack that does massive damage to all characters, killing them. However, because of Auto Life, Bringle, Primal Liquid, and Bunnytails all come back to life and the battle is over. We then move on to Tiamat, and Tiamat categorically only has attacks that hit one party member at a time. Well, for the most part. And because Bunnytails starts with 1 HP, they immediately get off a Limit Glove, and Bringle follows up with a Dragon Crest soon after. And honestly, Tiamat kinda chokes here. She uses Absorb Strength and Absorb Magic to start. And normally these skills suck because they decrease my damage and increase Tiamat's damage. But because we're using skills that always do 9,999 damage and our characters die in one hit anyway, I don't really care. Another Limit Glove, another Dragon Crest, and it takes out Bringle. Unfortunately, I had planned to use an Elixir on Bringle, and that gets redirected to Bunnytails. That means that they now have full HP instead of 1 HP, and that destroys her ability to use Limit Glove. But still, Tiamat continues to use non-damaging skills. So I have Primal Liquid use Thievery, I Elixir Bringle, and she uses another Dragon Crest, but then something awful happens. Tiamat uses Jetfire, taking down Press A and Primal Liquid, who gets revived, and inflicting the heat status on Bunnytails and Bringle. And since Bringle already had an attack queued up, they die. But I revive her again, and Tiamat then wastes a turn trying to absorb MP. This means that Bringle can use one more Dragon Crest to destroy her. We next move on to fight Kraken, and with water absorption, Kraken can't do much. The only exception is Ink, a physical attack that Kraken will use after physical attacks, including Dragon Crest, so Bringle goes down a few times. So I basically just have Bringle Dragon Crest him to death. The Lich is next. Bringle gets the Feather Boots her auto float to avoid earth attacks, NG Plus and Primal Liquid get Gaia Gears, and Bunnytails gets a Circlet so that they can stay at 1 HP as much as possible and negate earth attacks. Except I forgot to equip the Gaia Gears on NG Plus and Primal Liquid, so my bad. I open with a Limit Glove and NG Plus gets doomed, which is honestly fine, and Bringle uses a Dragon Crest. Bunnytails then uses a second Limit Glove, and Earthquake comes out, destroying Primal Liquid, but he has Auto Life, so that is A-okay. Bringle uses another Dragon Crest, Bunnytails uses a Limit Glove, and then the Lich wastes another turn for Earthquake. But before I can queue up my attack, the Lich takes out Bringle with a Death Attack, leaving us with only Bunnytails at 1 HP. But of course, they use another Limit Glove, finishing off the Lich and getting us through this boss gauntlet on the first try. Just 3 more bosses to go, starting starting with Death Guise. And Death Guise is a pain in the neck. It always starts with a devastating meteor attack, using up my team's auto life right away, and it often follows it up with a spin attack, destroying my team. And spin is completely unblockable. However, there's one way to get around that. If Bunnytails gets a turn first, they can immediately cast Night. That puts Death Guise to sleep, interrupts its attack pattern, and prevents it from casting Meteor entirely. That lets my team maintain their auto life. I also gave Press A the Diamond add-on before this battle, and I have her cast the Carbuncle Summon. This bestows the party with a Vanish status, which prevents all physical attacks from hitting. But unfortunately, it doesn't prevent spin from hitting, so I still have to get a little bit lucky. So I have Bringle use Dragon Crest, Primal Liquid use Thievery, and Press A cast Asuna on Bunnytails to remove their sleep. Unfortunately, I could not equip Bunnytails with Insomniac because starting with Auto Life makes this battle much more safe and she doesn't have enough magic gems. So this is the only way to get around it. So I have Bringle use another Dragon Crest, and then something great happens. Death Guise closes his stance, meaning he won't use attacks. And Bunnytails is then able to put him to sleep, locking him in that position temporarily. Unfortunately though, Death Guise wakes up again, and Bunnytails is still asleep. So I have Bringle use a Dragon Crest again. He then uses Death to take out Bunnytails, but it misses. So Bringle hits with Dragon Crest, Bunnytails gets another Night off, and Press A immediately cures them with Asuna. So after restoring Bringle's MP with an Elixir, they use another Dragon Crest, and Bunnytails immediately gets off a Night. This means that with just one more Dragon Crest, Bringle takes out Death Guise, bringing us to the penultimate battle in this challenge, Kuja. And Kuja is gonna be rough. But fortunately, he mainly has single target attacks. I make sure everyone has auto life, Bunnytails gets taken out and revived with 1 HP, Bringle gets off a Dragon Crest, and Primal Liquid gets off a Thievery. Then Bringle gets taken out by a Holy Spell, and Bunnytails gets off a Limit Glove, and Primal Liquid another Thievery. But I overlooked one of Kuja's spells, Flare Star. This spell does a set amount of damage based on character level and will never kill a character at full HP. So Primal Liquid and Press A are still alive, and we start reviving. Bringle gets off another Dragon Crest, but then Kuja uses another Flare Star, taking out everyone except Press A. And before she can attack, he takes her out with a Flare spell and a Holy. But on the second try, we go full out.
3 hours later.
But then Kuja uses Flare Star, taking out Primal Liquid. And before Bringle can act, and we're back at square one. So third try, Kuja starts off with Flare Star, the best possible scenario. I get off a Thievery, auto life for Press A, and then Kuja wastes a turn with Reflect. We hit our first Dragon Crest, and I proactively restore Bringle's HP and MP with an Elixir. Kuja casts Holy on Bringle, but she has auto life, and I get the status back on her right away. Flare then hits Press A, she's revived, and Bringle gets off another Dragon Crest. But then another Flare Star goes off, but it misses Press A. It does, however, take out Bringle, but she is once again revived by auto life. A Holy takes down Press A, Bringle's HP and MP are restored with an Elixir, Press A is revived, and Kuja uses Holy on Primal Liquid, which is negated. But this means Bringle can use another Dragon Crest, Bunnytails' MP is restored, and Primal Liquid's auto life gets used up by a Flare attack. I use another Elixir on Bringle, she gets off another Dragon Crest, and then Kuja uses Flare Star twice in a row. But even though Primal Liquid and Press A go down, Bringle is able to use another Dragon Crest, and Kuja is finally finished off, which means there's one more challenge left in this run. I want to take a moment to say thank you so much for watching this far in the video. Including the stream, script writing, editing, and recording, this video took over 120 hours to make. So if you haven't already, please take a moment to hit the subscribe button. And extra special thanks goes out to my Tantacles, my channel members who support me financially. So if you happen to have an extra $5 a month laying around, want to help me make more and better videos, and want early access to my videos, as well as access to members-only live streams where I literally make these videos, please consider joining the Tantacles. So now that Kuja is finished, we move on to the final boss of Final Fantasy IX, Nekron. But actually there's a special surprise after I finish him off, so you might want to stick around for that. To beat Nekron, I need to equip as many status protective abilities as possible. The most important ones are Locomotion, Jelly, Antibody, and Clear-Headed. However, I do give Bunnytails auto life so that they can get down to 1 HP easily. I start as usual with a Dragon Crest. Unfortunately, Nekron immediately casts Blizzaga on the entire party, destroying everyone except Bunnytails, who has auto life. This immediately puts me on the defensive, forcing me to revive my other characters. And I start with Bringle. But then Nekron uses Grand Cross, its ultimate ability that can inflict every status effect in the book. And it's a big book. And he turns Bunnytails to stone and minis Bringle. Bringle had a Dragon Crest queued up, so she uses that. But then she gets taken out by a neutron ring. So with Bringle destroyed and Bunnytails stoned, we have to start over. On try number 2, I start with a Dragon Crest, but then Nekron takes out Primal Liquid with a Flare spell. I change up my strategy here though to account for this. I have Press A use Carbuncle to reflect full party magic attacks, meaning that's one less thing that can kill me. Bunnytails uses Auto Life, Bringle uses Dragon Crest, and then Grand Cross comes in hot. It casts Freeze on Bringle, but otherwise inflicts no status effects. Bunnytails gets Auto Life on Bringle, and then Neutron Ring takes down the entire party. However, with Auto Life, Bringle and Bunnytails survive, so another Dragon Crest and Limit Glove go hard. And Nekron now uses Blue Shockwave, and since both characters are at 1 HP, it does nothing. Bringle uses another Dragon Crest, and we need just one more attack to take down Nekron. And he uses Blue Shockwave, taking Bringle back down to 1 HP. But this means she's open to use Dragon Crest, and this spell finishes off Nekron, meaning we've beaten Final Fantasy. Oh, balls. We're not done. The true final boss of Final Fantasy IX is a big, sweaty rainbow ball, Ozma. So naturally, before I give it my all, I have to see if I can kill it right away. So let me quickly educate you about balls. First, you should know that Ozma is a special and impatient snowflake. If you queue up an attack while Ozma is doing nothing, your character will attack and then Ozma will immediately get its turn next, even if it just moved. However, you can get multiple attacks in a row against Ozma. You just have to finish selecting your attack while Ozma is busy ejaculating all over you, because balls. Second, Ozma is smart. If your entire party has a way to absorb an attack with their armor, it will simply not cast that spell, and the same goes for Auto Reflect. However, if even one of your characters just negates the attack instead of absorbing it, Ozma will still cast it. Not so smart now, are ya? And finally, the friendly monster quest completely changes the fight, but I'll get back to that. I try to have 3 characters absorb Holy and Shadow with their equipment, and I make sure to have one who just negates it. And for abilities, everyone gets Auto Life. I also use Press A instead of NG+, because of her Hail Mary Phoenix attack that we saw earlier, and I actually get pretty lucky on my first try. Ozma starts with Death on Bringle, and they get revived. Of course, I forgot I had Auto Life available and Phoenix downed her, but that's classic me. And then Ozma uses Curse, taking out my entire team. Auto Life revives Bunnytails and Primal Liquid, but Press A has not mastered Auto Life yet, so she's just down. And then Ozma uses Flare Star, which crazy enough misses both Primal Liquid and Bunnytails, but then takes them both out with a Curse. And of course, since my specialty is bashing my head against the wall over and over, I try a few more times with literally no success. Okay, I was very successful at suffering, and the Tantacles really appreciated that. But after this, we get serious. It's time to go hang out with the friendly monsters. Each of these friendly beasts wants something, just like all of your relatives when they realize that you've become a success. Anyway, once you give each friendly beast a prize, like an ore or a gem, they give you a boatload of AP, and you don't even have to buy the boat to get it. But more importantly, once you spoil the finally friendly monster, the Yan with a diamond, it profoundly changes Ozma. First, it makes it possible to hit Ozma with physical attacks. And I actually watched a level 1 run of Ozma recently where this mattered. It took advantage of some crazy equipment setups as well as Steiner's charge attack, which causes all characters in the party to attack if they're at critical HP. This allows the characters to wreck Ozma in one turn. But unfortunately, because we leveled up Flygon HG during the Abaddon fight, this option is not available to us. But fortunately, the friendly Anne does one more thing. Normally, Ozma absorbs shadow damage. This means that even though shadow absorbing equipment will make Doomsday ineffectual, it also means that each time Ozma uses Doomsday, it heals itself for about 8,000 HP. However, after the friendly monsters, Doomsday will deal damage to Ozma, about 8,000 damage to be exact. And that can make a big difference in this battle. So with this quest done, it's time to fight. And Ozma starts off by casting Death on Press A. This is pretty much the best thing it can do, as she'll get auto-lifed and she couldn't do much damage anyway. Then I can have Primal Liquid use Thievery and have Bunnytails use Limit Glove, but small problem. Death is a quick spell, meaning I don't have time to lock in a Dragon Crest with Bringle. Right after this, Ozma uses Curse, taking out my party and removing the rest of my auto-life. And then a Flare Star takes out my party again, meaning this attempt is over. On try number 2, it starts out with Doomsday, the best possible scenario. Unfortunately though, I forgot to restore my MP before this attempt, and anyway it uses Curse next followed by Flare Star, so that doesn't even really matter. And sure, that Flare Star misses Bunnytails, but they'd already queued up Limit Gloves, so the next Curse just takes them out. Try number 3 is an immediate Meteor followed by Curse, so that's done. But then Press A's Phoenix goes off, meaning everyone is revived. And even better, Ozma next uses Doomsday, doing 0 damage to my party and damaging itself. But after that, it wipes out my party with another Curse and Flare Star. Bah. Number 4 though, Ozma starts with a Flare Star, which is great news. This does take down Bunnytails, but everyone else survives. However, a Curse comes next, followed by a Meteor, which makes me sad. On number 5 though, I get a stroke of luck. Ozma once again starts with Doomsday, and I'm able to set up a Thievery, Limit Glove, and Dragon Crest right away. It counters the Limit Glove with Berserk, but it misses Bunnytails, which saves me a turn. But it also counters Dragon Crest with Berserk, and that hits Bringle. But fortunately, I had Primal Liquid's turn ready, and Ozma next wastes the turn using Mini. This means that Bunnytails can get off our third round of 9999 damage, and Primal Liquid can queue up a Gasol Green to cure Bringle of Berserk. And in another amazing turn of events, Ozma uses Flare on Bringle next, taking her out and activating her auto life, and Bunnytails is able to hit with yet another Limit Glove. Unfortunately though, Ozma now uses Curse, taking out the entire party and using up the last of my auto life, followed by Flare Star. And that Flare Star ends this attempt. But we got pretty darn close, and this is looking possible. And try number 6 once again starts with Doomsday. But I realized something. I have an amazing item still in my inventory, Dark Matter. When thrown, this item does 9,999 damage no matter what. While Doomsday is being cast, I queue up some attacks. A Dark Matter, followed by Bringle's Dragon Crest, after which Bringle gets Berserked again, and Bunnytails' Limit Glove, and Ozma once again counters with Berserk, and it misses. Ozma's next turn is Mini, which is a wasted turn, and I use Press A's turn to use a Gasol Green on Bringle to cure Berserk. But then Ozma uses Flare Star. I queue up a Limit Glove with Bunnytails, though I fully expect them to die during this attack, but in fact, they're the only one who dodges the attack, and they hit with yet another Limit Glove. But now shit gets serious because Ozma counters with Curaga, healing off most of that attack. Bringle, however, already had a Dragon Crest set up, and Ozma counters that with Curaga as well. But during that Curaga, I'm able to queue up an elixir to cure Bringle, and then another Limit Glove with Bunnytails, and this time Ozma does not counter. Instead, it uses Death on Bunnytails, and I queue up one more Dragon Crest with Bringle. The dragon bites, and it deals 9,999 damage, and we got it! We beat Ozma at level freaking 1! And you might think that this challenge is over, but there's one more battle that we need to win. The battle against Hades. Ozma gave us some EXP, so I load a different save file and Hades starts a countdown. When he hits 0, he'll slash the entire party with his sword. But there are no ATB shenanigans, so I hit with Limit Glove for 9999 and his countdown hits 3. Dark Matter for 9999. Dragon Crest for 9999. His countdown hits 2. Limit Glove for 9999. Press A's Holy for 7400. Thievery for 2800. Hades countdown hits 1. I cast one more Dragon Crest for 9999 and Hades dies.